Hello, hello, hello. It is a fabulous Friday, this first day of November, and I hope everyone is doing well. Family, I'm excited because we will be able to close out early voting as of today, and then on Tuesday, those voting ballots will be cast, and we will soon know who the next president of these United States is going to be. Are you as excited as I am? I'm excited about the possibilities for the field of education and the children that we serve. I'm just believing God to just move mightily and put the right person in the seat so that we can continue to grow a learned nation and meet children where they are, those that have challenges, and those who are high performing and high achievers. We can move them on up the line too. If you don't know, I am Valia Lee, and I am founder and CEO of the Strategic Advantage. We are a global education consulting firm, and we do all kinds of things as it relates to continuous school improvement, inclusive of strategic planning. We work with budgeting. We work with leadership and teacher development and quality, and any other aspect of schooling. I have been in the field of education for over 30 years now, and it is my passion. I love it. That's how this strategic advantage was birthed. I am a retired superintendent after having served in three different districts, but I have so much more to give. And again, it's my passion, and that's why I am still out here. If you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, please do. And also like this video, share this video, and if some of this content is going to help someone you know, forward it to them. Share it directly to their text messages or their email or however you wish to do so. We began a series last week talking about the 10 factors that contribute to a positive culture and climate in schools. As such, we followed up with identifying and several of those 10 factors. And the one that we are looking at today is student engagement. It's actually a continuation of what we started on Monday. We looked at student engagement on Monday. We talked about the doable dozen, which would tell 12 things that one can do to fully engage students in the learning process. So today we're going to pick up where we left off. We're going to do a deeper dive into one of those doable dozens, differentiated instruction. We're also going to be looking at questioning strategies, personalized learning, flexible grouping, equity and access, giving student agency, and recognition and celebration. All of those things are very, very important and most necessary when we talk about student engagement. Differentiation is typically done based on assessment. Assessment is at the foundation of all differentiated instruction. We have to assess and determine where students are in order to craft lessons for them to meet them at their area of need and begin to move them forward with growth. Also, we want to make certain that with differentiation, we differentiate with product, process, content, and environment, making certain that it is a place where students can thrive and go forward. So, that is our down and dirty look at differentiation. I share those because people say, well, I differentiate. Well, how are you differentiating? Are you using product, process, content, or are you differentiating by way of the environment? Then there are those who say, I don't differentiate because it's just too much to do. I can't do it. Well, I'm going to tell you, you will not be able to move your students forward without it. And Carolyn Tomlinson is the guru for differentiated instruction. Make certain that you look her up and find out more about what she says. Now, Carolyn Tomlinson, I think it's Caroline Tomlinson, has been around forever and again is one of the noted individuals in that field. But she says it's doable, and I'm going to tell you it's doable. I did it as a classroom teacher, and it wasn't even called differentiated instruction at that time. We just met kids where they were. What we did was there was a guy by the name of Harvey Silver who talked about, learning styles, etc. And Howard Gardner talked about learning intelligences. And there were any other individuals in the field of education who talked about there being differences in the way students learn and in their interests in learning and how we as educators can capitalize on their interests and their varied intelligences and learning styles and maximize opportunities for them to give them the best and then to bring the best out of them. Another thing that we want to look at is questioning strategies. Sometimes we need to do informal, formative assessments of students' learning. And that questioning and techniques is going to take care of that. We've all heard of Bloom's taxonomy, and we know what the levels of taxonomy is about. We've also looked closer in recent years at something called depth of knowledge. And depth of knowledge takes Bloom to, I'm going to say, the 10th power, because what it does is it hones in on those various taxonomies. It begins to group them and cluster them, and it begins to break down the information specific to each of them to an understandable bites and helps teachers to better understand how to meet students. Something that came online, I guess about maybe 10 years ago, was something called, or is something called personalized learning. We've already talked about how kids learn in different ways. Well, sometimes we have to use computer assisted instruction when there are so many students on so many varied levels. We've got to personalize the learning so that it becomes more applicable to their cognitive abilities and their academic pursuits. So then, with personalized learning, we take a look at what technological tools are available to help the teacher further the learning. For example, when I was superintendent in my last district, I made a point of buying iPads for each and every student. And that was such that we could put certain apps on those iPads for certain students, depending on what they needed personally. Or there's some districts who got the Chromebooks, and there are others who, got other varied technological tools. But personalized learning, at the heart of it, is the independent learning, computer assisted instruction, and having technological tools to add to what the teacher is giving in the classroom. The other thing that I want to talk about is flexible grouping. You can remember growing up, at least I can, back in the early 60s, where we had, the bluebirds, the redbirds, and we had the buzzards. Well, these were students that were at different reading levels. And what happened was they would get in a group, and unfortunately, they would be in that group all year. Then there would be times when that same group would follow them to the next grade level. But with flexible grouping, it's such that kids can assess out or test out of a group. And if you reach a certain content or a certain challenging zone of proximity, where in terms of their reading ability, you may need to bring a child back to a group that is not as fast paced or high achieving as what they had been used to. So when it's flexible, it's forever changing It's ongoing and it is specific to the student's needs. Now, another thing that is important is the equity in access. Sometimes we have special needs students, whether they are gifted and they need more challenging instruction and materials, or whether they are underperforming, where they need, additional supports, like the bubble students we call them. And sometimes it's the major underperformers who are anywhere from one grade level to two or more behind. So that is what we want to make certain that we do for these young people, is give them equity and access based on their needs. Some students need assistive technology. Others just need some materials that's going to take them beyond what they know and what the teacher is able to do in the classroom. Some students are special needs students, and their IEP dictates what the teacher will and will not do, and what other support personnel will do in order to help these students get on grade level or to meet them at their learning deficiencies. Student agency is so very key when we talk about student engagement. This is when we give students a voice in the matter, where they say, I would prefer to do something that is artistically inclined, where I can show my abilities and I can still be assessed on content, but I can do it using my skills in art. Another person might be one who is musically inclined, and they say, well, I would like to do a rap so that you can see that I know the information. But the bottom line is, it's making certain that students have a voice in what they're being taught and how they're being taught. Because if it meets them where they desire to be met, that's going to further engage them in the learning. You won't have to complain or hear them complaining, their parents complaining about so many worksheets, because you'll find out that there are any number of ways that we can, teach the same content, but assess it in different ways and deliver it in different ways. All right. So the last thing we want to talk about in terms of student engagement is recognition and celebration. You and I get paid either once a month or twice a month, and that's when we are recognized for what we've done and we get celebrated for what we've done. So we want to make certain that we always acknowledge the hard work that students are doing, give them all the accolades and support and thanks for being an active participant in the learning process. And when you tell them how good they're doing or how well they're doing, that's going to encourage them to want to do more and to be further engaged. Everybody loves to have people to tell them what a good job they're doing. Even I, at this ripe old age, enjoy when people tell me, "Oh, that meal you cooked was so good," or that speech you gave was just absolutely wonderful. We all like to be praised. And we also want to do the celebrations where we can acknowledge those who are all A honor roll, all AB honor roll, or the principal's list, or what have you. That's that celebrating. All of that is motivational, and it's also actionable in terms of engaging students. All right. I just want you to know that I gave you some brief things. I said them very quickly. And in the respect of time, I won't spend a lot on each one. But you are welcome to reach out to me and to have a one-on-one coffee chat, or you can be a participant in what we call office hours. We're going to be delivering some information and sending that out so you'll know what times are available. And with the coffee chat, again, it's going to be 1-to-1 or 1-to-2, where we may have the same people that wants information about something, where I will either be the expert or I will have someone on who's going to be the expert. And we'll just sip on a bit of coffee and just talk about how we can meet you at your need as the educator. And then again, the office hours. Those will be scheduled in advance where we can take up to as many as 30 or 40 people for the office hours, where you come in with a set of questions that you can submit ahead of time. And then, as time permits, we'll open up the floor for you to submit those questions right on spot. Those will be live sessions. And we can, just talk, get you an opportunity where you can ask and get the input from everybody that's on the call, so that we can all help each other to get better and to be more beneficial to our students. All right. This is going to bring an end to our session today. I want you to know that when all of the doable dozens are fully engaged, and then when you have these particular 6 student engagement avenues, discipline is of very little concern in the classroom, and it's also going to help with attendance and attitude. Children don't mind being where they feel they are loved and they are being attended to. So that's what we want to do, make certain that we continue to give them what they need and be all that we can be for them, so that they can be all that they can be for themselves. Thank you so much for joining me again. Fabulous Friday to you. The weekend is loaded. Let's go make some things happen. In the words of Michelle Obama, do something. Thank you again. I look forward to seeing you next time. On Monday, I should have another special guest, and we're going to be talking about some good stuff that you won't want to miss. Have a good weekend to you and yours. Thank you. Bye bye.